ran a checkup on myself. Some days I just have to check up on myself. I'm so icy, got that GG on my belt. Thank the Lord for my people and my health. Lost a lot, but I came out with no L's. Thank the Lord for my people and my health. And I'm fine as hell from my head down to my nails. My man tripping cause I got another cell. He still buy me YSL. I could get it by myself. These I could get it by myself. I could get it by myself. These I could get it by myself. I'ma get it by myself. Yeah. Feel like ginger.
Opened back in 2003, have a look at the link. Lincoln Financial Field, where 70,000 are rocking and ready to go in Philadelphia. The scene in South Philly a few moments ago. Boy, the city of brotherly love is fired up. They're saying, fly, Eagles, fly, as they get ready to match up with Matthew Stafford and the Detroit Lions. And this will be a touchback as that sails over the end line.
Here we go. Ready? Silver.
Wentz now on first down. He'll hit Jackson, complete. 4 yards the result on the first play from scrimmage. Second down.
They've got good playmakers on the offensive side of the ball. I don't know what happened last week to really hurt their performance and hold down their production, but I would dare say that this week in practice, there's a lot of talk about how they're going to increase their proficiency.
And that was a good start, getting the playmakers involved. You mentioned that to me pregame. That's what they did there.
Yeah, I think a lot of people think the coaching staff really gets on them, and that's how they motivate them. Most of these guys are self-motivated. They have a lot of pride in their performance.
So now an early 3rd and 10 here on their opening drive. Shotgun now for Wentz. Looks to throw, fires right side. And that's going to be incomplete. The coverage too good there. The contact popped the ball free, and it's 4th down. He punted 4 times in the loss last week as he gets this one away here. On the return, here's Agnew.
Let's go. The Lions take over 1st and 10 at their own 35-yard line.
They've got good starting field position as they come up here 1st and 10 at their 35-yard line. A look at Kerryon Johnson, second-year man out of Auburn. And able to get this one across the 45 before he's brought down. It's a gain of 14 and a first down for Detroit.
And that's a run that'll energize an offensive line. They'll take that one all day long. Fundamental breakdown by the defense. You've got to be able to make plays on the edge.
Set, waiting. Check 53.
They stay on the ground on first for Johnson. And he is met quickly in the backfield. Down he goes, folded like a lawn chair.
Well, that didn't appear to be a run blitz. He just darted in once he saw the run develop. That appeared to be a case of see ball, get ball.
Set, yellow 20. Check, watch 54, watch 54.
On 2nd and 12, Stafford. He'll get this one to Galladay. And he takes this one down almost all the way to the 30. And he has another first down as they'll get the ball down to the Eagles' 32-yard line.
First down, Lions.
From the 32 now, here's 1st and 10.
Watch the pass. Let's go.
Now Stafford. Blitz coming, and down he goes. A sack by Brandon Graham. He's been doing that since he entered the league in 2010. Well, they were coming out of the 4-3 defensively. Pressure coming off that right side from the DN.
And that's the blind side of most quarterbacks. If you're right-handed, that's the side you don't see quite as well. And that's why you rely on your left tackle, maybe your highest-paid offensive lineman, to take care of you. In this situation, that didn't happen.
To try again after the sack. Stafford. And that's going to be incomplete. A lot of contact, no call, and it's third down.
Well, if there is a certainty in this game, we know that wherever he goes, he's going to draw a big-time crowd.
Throws into double coverage there, and look, that's something that he's going to have to deal with a lot in this game, I'm sure.
Yeah, they were lucky to get away with that one where it just fell incomplete, but they're going to count on him to uncover latent routes and make some difficult catches.
32. Check 50, check 50. Easy, alert. 53, check 53. Run.
Third and long, it's Stanford. And that is incomplete.
They went with the dime look that time on defense, just flooded the field with defensive backs, blanketed everyone, took away all the passing angles, thus the incompletion.
Here is Matt Prater now. He's got the leg for this as he holds the NFL record with a 64-yarder back in 2013. They'll spot it at the 47, so call it a 57-yard attempt. Remember, Prater has hit from 64 earlier in his career. This one not quite as long, but good from distance nonetheless. Prater now will send it away following the made field goal. And this will not be returnable. It's out of the back of the end zone for a touchback. Already at the line, this Philly offense set to go. And the last drive, their first drive, 3 and out. What changes here, if anything?
I think it's making sure the guys that you trust the most with the ball, the biggest playmakers you have, that they touch it on this possession to try and get things moving.
So get it to the horses.
Without a doubt. They're the ones that typically end up in the end zone.
A loss of a yard there to start out. That leads to a 2nd and 11. Wentz off the fake handoff to Howard. And that'll be incomplete. Good protection that time, and they couldn't hook up on the long one. Now it's third down. And this passing game's whole offense really didn't show up in the loss last week, and it hasn't started all that great here either.
Yeah, and they can't let that incompletion become an uh-oh moment. Like, oh boy, here we go again, just like last week. Each game is its own entity, treated as such.
That's caught by Jackson. And down he goes, but he takes it up to the 40. It's a gain of 16 and an Eagle first down.
I think it all came together there. In-breaking route, drove it with excellent pace. Money throw right there to move the sticks.
On 1st and 10, here's Wentz. And he finds his tight end. It's Ertz. And taking it across midfield and inside the 45. A big pickup there for the Eagles' first down, 18 yards.
First down. 1st and 10 at the 42-yard line.
Here we go.
So the ball moves into Lion territory now. Here's 1st and 10 at the 42-yard line. Now it's the all-purpose back. This is Darren Sproles. Not much there, maybe a couple as he's taken down at the 40.
Well, he was looking for some running room, and there wasn't a whole lot of it there on that play. I think he was lucky to get a couple of yards out of it because those defenders, they were rallying to the football pretty quickly.
The last run good for 2. Here's 2nd and 8. Draw play. This is Sproles. And running room scarce here. He's going to be stopped in his tracks at the line of scrimmage. 2 runs in a row, but only 2 yards to show for it. Delayed give there out of the gun. Defense was ready.
Yeah, and I'm not a big fan of a draw play out of the shotgun formation because the quarterback's not having much action where he's getting away from the line of scrimmage. He's catching the football, making a little head fake, and then handing it off. You should be able to read it as they did there.
Now throwing on third down there, but he cannot connect. Here's Cameron Johnston now, as he'll kick it away for the second time.
The Lions take over 1st and 10 at their own 20-yard line.
The Lions offense ready to kick off their next drive. And fortunate to get points on the board last time. They had to hit a really long field goal to do so.
The kickers in today's game are so good and so skilled and hit from distances that we almost start to take them for granted, and we can't do that. That's a long field goal that they got 3 points out of. They've got to feel good about that, and they better make sure they love him up because he's helped them out.
Yeah, now we'll see if that offense can put 6 on the board here. We'll see. Operating from the 27 now. Here's 2nd and 3. Here's Stafford. Caught by Jones. He's got this almost to the 40 before going out. 12 yards there and a first down.
First down, Detroit.
Now this will probably be the last play of the quarter. The first down carry here for Johnson. And that play went nowhere. Losing yardage. It'll be back at the 36. 3-0 after 1 on EA Sports.
Set. 180. Check line 54. Line 54. All day, dog. Watch the ship. Watch the ship. Hey, watch the ship. Watch the ship.
Faking the give to Johnson. Now it's Stafford. Open man is Galladay, complete. And he's going to be out of bounds, but not before he takes it inside the 40. A first down there on a pickup of 25.
And the Lions, first down.
So from the 39 now, they'll come up on a 1st and 10.
You ain't doing nothing today.
Now Stafford. Nowhere to escape, and he goes down.
And we talk about players blitzing all the time. I often laugh and sometimes call it just straight-ahead pursuit. What a running start right back to the backfield for him.
Yeah, it really didn't give anybody a chance to get up there and stop him.
No, I mean, that's really, really difficult. You're asking a whole lot anyway, but when he gets that kind of a start and comes through clean, oftentimes the advantage definitely goes to the defensive player.
Now following the sack, they'll look to make amends on a 2nd down and 17. The Lions will use the first of their timeouts. They'll have 2 remaining as we step aside here in this second quarter. Don't need it all back at once, but you figure they're going to need something here. 17 yards to go on 2nd down. They get 14 back, but it leads now to a 3rd down.
Well, that play looks familiar because we saw them working on it in practice this week. And for a lineman trying to block on this play, they love when they get the defense moving in one direction. And when they try and change directions, it's a lot easier to pick them up and ward them off.
Stafford on 3rd down. Open man, he's got him, the tight end Hockenson.
That's it, baby. We're going to work.
Stafford going to come up 1st and 10. And he's 4 for 4 now, throwing the ball to start the drive. A shotgun snap for Stafford. And it's intercepted at the goal line. Picked off by the linebacker, Nigel Bradham. And a big turnover there as his guys will get the football back.
Oh, timing is everything on a route like this. He tried to drive that football into a tight spot. And if you're a little early or a little late, chances are there's going to be someone there. And sure enough, this one's going the other way.
They go with Howard to begin the drive. And he was very fortunate there to get out of his end zone. He maybe got back to the 2-yard line. Trey Flowers there on the tackle. So after the run for no gain, here's 2nd and 10.
watch your lunch, because I'm about to take you to school. He's crashing. He's checking crash.
In his own end zone, it's Wentz. And that'll be incomplete. We do have a penalty flag down, however. Let's see what that's about.
Let's go.
Here we go. 180!
Wentz now on first down. And that's going to be incomplete. Too tough to hold on to that one. It's second down.
Didn't have a receiver open downfield, and as it turned out, couldn't even find his outlet man because of the coverage. It's way too tight, unable to find anyone open.
So now second and 10 after the incompletion on first down.
Sunday!
It's going to be a long day. Alert flare.
Now Wentz. And a flag comes in as that one falls incomplete. Now let's see who this is on. So the contact came before the ball got there, and the flag is thrown.
Timing is everything, isn't it? And it's so hard to cover these great receivers. They have such great body control, and they can fake you out. In this case, as you described, got there before the ball got to the receiver. Penalty flag had to come out.
On first down, they run with Howard. He'll rumble for about 6 up across the 20 to the 22.
That's what I'm talking about.
Despite the blitz, they're still able to pick up a nice, solid gain. The disadvantage of blitzing often alters the normal spacing and run fits and leaves creases like they were able to exploit right there.
Play action. Now Wentz. He's going to fire one deep over the middle. And that will be incomplete. Tried to dial up the long one way out there, but it'll be third down. The Eagles on third down. Just 1 for 3 thus far. This is 3rd and 4. They fake the give. Now Wentz. Sliding out of the pocket. Aguilar has it. He's got a convoy, and he might be gone. Touchdown, Philadelphia. Nelson Aguilar. 78 yards. And the Eagles have taken the lead. As he was shuffling right out of the pocket, you could just tell he was going to take a shot downfield. He had his eyes down there the whole way.
He certainly did. He wasn't taking off to go, right? When he was flush from the pocket, a lot of times you see him, eyes will drop, ball will get tucked, and he takes off, becomes a running back. But as you noted, stayed alive as a passer, tremendous body control, and a pretty good arm there, too.
And that'll carry over the back line of the end zone for a touchback. The Lions offense ready to kick off their next drive. And there are parts of their last drive they'd like to emulate. And, of course, they'd like to forget the inning, the interception. But they did put together, Charles, a nice sustained drive to get him down the field.
Yeah, and unfortunately for them, the only thing that matters is part 2, right? Because once they threw the interception and finished off the drive, that does them no good to go back and say, well, you know, we had a good one going. Finish things off. That's the only way you can get it done.
So they'll come up after the gain of 7 on a 2nd and 3. And this is going to be incomplete. He was trying to find Marvin Jones that time. And it's 3rd and short.
Well, nearly another interception there. That would have been 2 drives in a row with a pick. He's got to start taking care of the ball way better than what we're seeing. Interestingly,
that throw was probably worse than the one he threw the interception on last drive, but fell incomplete. So the incomplete pass on the last play, and that leads us to a 3rd and 3. Stafford. Thomas has got it, complete. And he's going to have the first down, yardage to the 35. A 3rd down gain of 3 yards, and that'll be enough. Stafford now 6 of 10 in this first half. He's got his guys a first down here. Stafford now to throw. Flush to his right. Now he's going to throw it deep to the other side of the field. And that will be incomplete. Would have been a big hitter if they had connected. Instead, it's second down. I know he wants to get his team back in the game, but a 50-50 ball right there that maybe was a little questionable.
Yeah, he's pretty lucky to get that one back. I think that sometimes these quarterbacks play with a lot of confidence that borders on arrogance, and that can put your team in some Dutch.
Yeah, especially maybe want to look at some safer routes after the interception he had that ended their last drive. Here's 2nd and 10 now from the 35. A first carry for the converted wideout, J.D. McKissick. And a lot of talent on this Eagle defense, and you've seen it on these last 2 plays, both losses. It'll be a loss of 1, and that'll bring up a 3rd and 11 situation. They don't need to run another play here before the 2-minute warning. Let's see if they do it anyway. Throwing on 3rd down, Stafford. And this is going to be caught, but they'll say out of bounds. So it's incomplete.
And based on my math, they've only converted 1 time thus far in this game, so you can see the frustration starting to come out a little bit. 3rd downs, they've been a problem for them all game. They've got to start becoming solutions.
On 4th down, here's Sam Martin on to kick it away. Back deep is Darren Sproles. He was only asked to punt once in the victory last week as he sends this one away. 1:54 left on the clock here in quarter number 2. And we'll remind you that coming up at halftime, we'll join Jonathan Coachman and the gang in Orlando. Coach will have stats and scores from the early games going on here around the NFL. Now a pass dumped off to his running back. And he's upended after a gain of 4 up to the 25-yard line. 4 yards on that last completion, so that sets up 2nd and 6. Wentz going to throw. It's brought in by Jeffrey. And he takes this up to the 40-yard line before being corralled. The Eagles going to take the first of their timeouts as they'll get a chance to talk it over after picking up the first down.
Hey, we got to get this stop here, D.
Wentz now on 1st down. And that is incomplete. Took a shot there on 1st down, but he couldn't reel it in.
You get a tight end like this, and you know he's used to dishing out punishment, but here, he's the one that has to absorb the contact, and as a result, unable to hold on to the football.
After the incomplete pass, here now is 2nd and 10. Now, Wentz again. It's complete. It's Sproles. And he'll be brought down right at the 45-yard line. And at his size, he's a smaller back. You can get him to football. He can kind of get lost, make someone miss. It's good for him.
Yeah, it's great for him. I like what you said there. Sometimes he gets lost in the traffic a little bit, but get him out in the open field into some space. That plays to his strengths the best and keeps him out of it where all the big boys are. You know, make someone miss in the open field.
Now the Eagles will use the 2nd of their timeouts as the clock's going to stop with 47 seconds to go in half number 1.
Here we go. 120!
In your face.
Throwing on 1st is Wentz. A dump off to Sproles. So he got free of 1 tackle but couldn't do a whole lot else.
40.
A gain of 4. It's now 2nd and 6.
Throwing again on 2nd down. Wentz. Caught by the tight end Ertz. And he's going to be out of bounds, but not before he takes it inside the 40. It's a 1st down on a gain of 10.
First down. 1st and 10. That's a 36-yard line.
Wentz going to lead his guys up 1st and 10. And he's 6 of 7 now on this drive. Again, they'll throw with Wentz. And that's complete to Jeffrey. And brought down, but not before they're inside the 25. The Eagles will take their 3rd and final timeout as they'll stop the clock with 12 seconds to go in this first half. So even though it's 1st down, here's the field goal unit on now to try to get 3 before halftime. The Lions now going to use the 2nd of their timeouts as they'll stop the clock with 12 seconds to go in this first half.
A 39-yard attempt.
And this one is no good. He missed it. And this score will stay right where it is.
Everything looked good. Good snap, good hold. Sometimes, though, the ball just doesn't want to go where you want it. And this one winds up no good.
The Lions offense ready to kick off their next drive. Likely time for just one final play, and then it'll be off to the locker room to talk about how they can erase this deficit.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people look at it and go, well, maybe you take a shot here. Maybe you get some momentum going into the half. What's the flip side of that? You do something crazy, quarterback gets hit, ball comes free, and now you're down an even bigger margin. Go ahead and take this one, go to the locker room, start over.
And an alley to run. And able to get this one across the 45 before he's brought down. So we've reached intermission here in a low-scoring game. 7-3 is our score. As we'll send you down the coast now to Orlando, that's where we find Jonathan Coachman, ready with our EA Sports halftime report. Coach. Both teams appear ready for the fight ahead, and we resume action here in quarter number 3. And they will not get a chance to return this one as it's through the end zone for a touchback. The Lions offense ready to kick off their next drive. And with the way this offense has played thus far, to be frank, they got to feel pretty grateful to be in the ball game.
I would agree with you totally because they've done all of nothing offensively in this game, yet they still find...
Into double coverage, and it's intercepted. Picked off by Rodney McLeod. First possession of the third quarter, an interception, so maybe a second-half tone setter.
Indeed, and not the tone they wanted to set. That's the equivalent of running out the wrong door and running into your pool instead of running out onto the field. A real dud for that one.
Has that happened to you before?
No, but I've heard stories about teams actually doing that back in the good old days.
Looking to find a lane, but he can't. Reined in at the line of scrimmage.
I know the scouting report on him is that he doesn't possess the eye discipline to be an elite linebacker. What that means is his ability to read, react, and make a play. But on that one, he looked like one of those guys.
Eluding the pressure right. And he will avoid the contact as he slides to a stop. Wentz can pull it down when he needs to, and the 6'5 quarterback picks up the first down. So the youngster able to use the legs to pick up the first.
And one of my pet peeves when they see this guy play, when Carson Wentz takes off running the football, I always hear people go, oh, he's sneaky athletic. No, he's athletic. Watch him do it. He's an integral part of the quarterback run game, and he gets it done very, very well.
Yeah, you don't like sneaky athletic, do you? That's just kind of a jab in the back.
Yeah, not when it doesn't apply. I think that's a stereotype that needs to be broken down for him.
They try to run on first down, but this defense says no dice. They stop him a couple yards behind the line of scrimmage. It'll wind up being a loss of 2, and that'll make it 2nd and 12.
At the 44-yard line.
Back. 120! Man,
Now they'll throw it. Wentz. Screen pass to Sproles. And he'll be brought down just shy of midfield at the 49-yard line. Give him 5 on the screen play, and that'll set up a 3rd down.
For a second there, I thought that might break big. Screen pass. Looked like it was coming together. Looked like there was an opening. Still, ended up with a solid game.
Now Wentz on 3rd down. That's caught by the big tight end, Dallas Goedert. And it's going to be another first down as they'll get him to the ground at the Lions' 28. Well, that tight end position, it just seems to continue to evolve every year in the NFL.
Yeah, you're getting really terrific athletes. A lot of them maybe were wide receivers at one point. They continue to give you speed, great hands, and big bodies, which make them excellent targets for quarterbacks.
And the reinforcements come in as they're going to stop him behind the line.
An interesting and intriguing decision there defensively because they kept extra DBs on the field despite seeing the multiple tight end look that came out for the offense.
I thought they were going to switch out of it. I didn't know if they felt they didn't have time or what the case was.
Well, in any event, the extra speed allowed for great penetration as they stuffed that one behind the line of scrimmage.
They try to throw on second down, but this one is incomplete. Alshon Jeffrey, the intended receiver. And that'll make it third down. How about the defensive effort from both of these teams that we've seen in this game?
Would you say it's like a high-stakes chess match right now?
Chess is one way to go. Yeah, I like it.
Okay, the only reason I say that, you feel like they're contemplating their moves before actually making one, and none of them being done very confidently.
Truth be told, I've never played chess, and I know that I'm not smart enough to play chess. Guys like you with your IQ, you can pull that off. The kick by Elliott is good. And they push the lead up to a touchdown now at 10-3. Well, looking at it from a defensive perspective, that keeps the deficit very, very manageable. You know, all things considered, not a bad job on the defensive side.
I would say that you've pointed out something pretty good right there, and that is you actually have both sides happy with that exchange. You know, happy in quotes, of course. One team, hey, we've kept it within range. The other side saying, hey, we put points on the board and did stretch out the lead. Let's see how this one turns out.
Yeah, still bottom line, though, 3 points for the opening drive of the third quarter. After the field goal, here's Elliott to kick it away. And this will be a touchback as that sails over the end line. The Lions offense ready to kick off their next drive. Their defense has done the job. Now it's the offense's turn as they've got it 1st and 10.
40 got.
Trying to shake off the interception. He'll look to throw. Rush coming, and he's taken down. Brandon Graham applied the heat off the edge. You know, despite the scoreline, I think they've got to like where they are here. They're on the road and just one big play away from getting right back in this game.
I'm going to follow right along with you because the spot they're in now is a credit to their defense. They've kept them in it by making the plays that they've made, and that just means you're one big score away from being right back there.
Now the question is, can this offense step up and make that play? Because that's been an issue for them in this game.
The goal for any offense versus a zone defense, find the holes where guys are available and put the ball on the receiver before any defender can step up and fill it.
They did it well there. Perfectly executed crossing route. Now a fake on the give here as they try to run pass option. Well, we looked at each other right away. We knew that flag was coming out.
And I always enjoy the conversation post because officials always tell you, I don't want to throw the flag, but you caused the play. You did it. I had to.
Stafford on 1st down. That one caught by Gibson. And they're able to work this to the 25 before it's all said and done. Chewing up big yardage. Another nice gain there. This one goes for 20.
One thing I can say pretty safely, that route is not called if you don't have a guy who can throw the ball and put some mustard on it. Because if you're going to lollipop it in the middle of the field, bad things usually happen. It takes a strong-arm guy.
And he's going to go down. They sack him back right around the 30.
The amount of sacks that they've absorbed in this game is absolutely extraordinary. Let's just face it. This offensive line, flat out, cannot handle this pass rush. It's been demonstrated time and time again.
Protection certainly going to need to be a bit better here on 2nd and 16.
Check cross.
It goes as a loss of 6. And now 3rd down.
I like the idea to mix it up from time to time because, let's face it, you can't be predictable. But the execution was a little lacking on this one, right? They might want to go back to the drawing board with that call.
3rd and long. It's Stafford. Catch is made by Hockenson, the tight end. And he'll go down here right around the 23-yard line. 14 yards, but they're still well shy of a first as that leads to 4th down. And And the 12-year veteran knocks it right through, and the drive will wind up yielding 3. So that's a 7-play drive that ultimately stalls out there at the end.
Yeah, things were a little leaky in the beginning on that drive, weren't they? But how about the front 7? As they got closer to the goal line, things stiffened a little bit, forced the field goal.
Prater now will send it away following the made field goal. The Eagles offense set to begin their next drive. And they've got the lead here getting late into the third quarter. And the passing game for them, it's been terrific. We've seen that, but the rushing game almost non-existent.
And with the lead and trying to finish this game off, they need the running game to come back to life. They need to get sparked that way, take some time off the clock, and keep the ball away from their opponents.
And welcome back. We are in the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia. It's the Eagles in possession of the football and leading this one as we get ready to start the final quarter. 2nd and 6, just inside the 30.
Double dog, that's the way.
On the toss play, Howard. He takes this from the 30 to the 34. That's a gain of 4 here in the fourth quarter with them leading by 4 on the scoreboard.
All right, that's a decent game there, but it hasn't been his best game overall. So I wonder what the mindset is of his team. Do they want him to handle the football and try and close this game out? Or are they going to make an alternative plan and maybe go in a different direction?
I think they need him, and this is his time to shine. Under a heavy rush, and down he goes. Devon Kennard in there to get him for a loss of 9 yards, and that also leads to 4th down. Here's Cameron Johnston now as he's on to punt for Philadelphia. And no return here. Where will they spot it? They say just outside the 20-yard line. The Lions offense ready to kick off their next drive. And after the field goal last time, let's see what they can get here. At least they got points out of the last drive, Charles.
I never met an offensive coach that didn't want to drive to end with a kick. Most of them wanted to end with a PAT, right? In this case, a field goal, they'll take it way better than the alternative, which is a punt.
Yeah, but you met fan bases that wanted that weren't happy with that field goal.
I haven't met a fan base yet that wants to drive to end with a kick, other than the extra point. That's it.
Now a fake on the give here as they try the run-pass option.
And we see another pitch and catch there to the running back. This position just continues to evolve. They become just as critical to the passing attack as a lot of receivers, tight ends, because their ability to make people miss in the open field can really generate big plays for an offense.
The Lions on 3rd down. They've hit it 50%, 3 of 6 to this point. Here it's 3rd and 2. Here's Stafford. Oh, he may have gotten lucky. Tried to dump it off underneath on the check down. Nearly picked. Instead, it's incomplete.
Not only was the call spot on, how about the execution of that defense right there? The zone was absolutely locked up tight. He was trying to force it in there on 3rd down.
But if there's a time to force it, he felt like he needed to make a play, right?
Yeah, exactly right. 3rd down, you got to try and find something. There's nothing available there for him.
A good return there, 17 yards. And the Eagles will have it taking over 1st and 10. Already at the line, this Philly offense set to go. And on the last go-around, they really couldn't get anything going.
They had to punt from deep inside their own territory, which means you're going to lose the field position battle as a general rule. What they're looking for now is a little more consistency, move the ball at least a few times on offense, get a couple of first downs, and hopefully flip the field.
Yeah, just something to build off of. That's what they're looking for here.
First and 10 at the 37-yard line.
Line of scrimmage, the 37 on first and 10.
I got you. I got you.
Now Howard. And this winds up a pickup of 2, maybe 2.5 to about the 39. And the trend continues here in the fourth like it was in the first, second, and third. He's had nowhere to run.
And you're probably thinking to yourself, why do they keep feeding him the football? Well, they trust him first and foremost. They do believe that over time he might actually pop one of these runs. The bottom line is he takes care of the ball well for them, so they'll keep handing it to him.
From the 39, Wentz dumps that off to his running back, Jordan Howard. It's a 4-yard pickup, and that'll make it third down.
I know most of the time when the ball's in the air, you're thinking wide receiver, tight end, but running backs, they can be a big part of any passing offense nowadays.
This a big play for both sides. What will we see here? Third and 4. Now Wentz. And Jeffrey's got it. And taking it across midfield and inside the 45. 14 yards there and an Eagle first down.
Couldn't just sit on it here, could they? Had to throw the ball on third down. Got the big completion in the pickup. Fresh set of downs now. They've got to feel great.
And defensively a backbreaker. Wentz now perfect since the second half started. 7 of 7. It's first and 10. They go counter with Howard. A'Shawn Robinson there on the stop.
I have to chuckle to myself a little bit, Brandon, because right now I could be in that huddle with that offensive line. I know exactly what they're saying. If you call a pass play here, we're going to call a timeout. Run the football. We've got control of this thing. Get in behind us and let's go.
Their time to shine. If nothing else, they've already taken a couple minutes off the clock here already as they come up second down. Wentz off the fake handoff to Howard. Blitz coming, and down he goes. And now, defensively, they're going to burn their first timeout. Remember, they get an extra time built in coming up here shortly at the 2-minute warning. Eagles coming up here on a 3rd and long, so Wentz and company with some work to do after the sack. Wentz now to throw. They'll set up the screen to Howard. Good contain, no gain on the screen, and it'll bring up 4th down. Fourth quarter, down to the final 2 minutes, and we've got a 1-score game. So it's Eagle football here as we get you reset. And let's see what they've come up with offensively after having time to talk it over. He's averaging just under 50 yards a punt as he gets this away. This one will sail out of bounds. It'll depend on the spot here. And the side judge says that went out at the 7-yard line. And for an offense that is struggling, this is not where you want to start from. Great punt.
Fantastic punt. And for all those who wonder, what do punters do during the course of practice each and every day? The best ones do what we just saw there. Work on positioning the football and helping their team.
They begin the drive with Johnson. And he'll go down for a loss inside his own 5 at the 4. A loss of 2 there. Second down.
Partner, they're clearly saving those timeouts, but they still have to work with some urgency to put themselves in the right position.
If you're thinking of a comeback here, you go to 2016. That's when Stafford had an NFL record 8 fourth-quarter comebacks. But last year, despite playing all 16 games, he had 0. 16 yards, a first down. Now it's Stafford. And he can't get a throw away. He's taken down. The Lions now going to use the second of their timeouts as they get the stoppage with just over a minute to go in the game. Now following the sack, they'll look to make amends on a 2nd down and 17. Stafford now to throw. He's going to let it fly. And this is going to wind up incomplete. The coverage there too strong on the deep ball, and now they face a 3rd down. These are the spots, this stage of the game, where it pays to have speed on the perimeter, doesn't it?
It certainly does, and in the 2nd quarter, he may very well run by him, but in this situation, I know as a defender, I'm loosening up a couple of extra steps that allowed him to run with him stride for stride.
Now Stafford. Open man is Galladay, complete. And he's able to get this one all the way past the 30. And the Lions quickly now going to use the last of their timeouts as they get the stoppage with just under 50 seconds remaining in the 4th. So they'll come up 1st and 10 now from the 33. They'll look to throw. He completes it to Jones. And they do finally get him, but he takes it to the 25. A big play there for Detroit. 42 yards.
Go 20!
Mike, number 53. Mike, 53. Check the outs. Check the outs.
He'll look to throw. And, a crusher there as it's intercepted. Picked up by Jalen Mills. And a big turnover there as his guys will get the football back.
The Eagles take over 1st and 10 at their own 5-yard line.
The Eagles offense set to begin their next drive. And they've got this one in hand. No timeouts remaining defensively, so this one should just be one kneel and then handshakes. And you know they enjoyed taking that knee because they're now going to be 1-2 instead of 0-3. And psychologically, that's a big difference early in the season.
It certainly is. It's a big barrier breaker because you get to 0-3, you're not thinking playoffs. At 1-2, you still believe that you're going to be a playoff team.
Yeah, you feel you got some hope on your side. 0-3, things start to look pretty bleak. Well, Charles, the old saying, the old cliche, if you will, points at a premium, that certainly applied here, didn't it?
And that almost like opened up a time capsule, didn't it? Old school football, low scoring, close game. What a way to finish it up.
You loved it, didn't you? You
loved
the defenses.
I certainly did. Brought back the images of the game of old.
So for the Eagles, they're into the win column now as they move to 1-2 on the young season. And they will hit the road next week for a date with the Green Bay Packers. Meanwhile, for Detroit, they will fall to a similar mark at 1-2. And they'll get a chance to redeem themselves at home next week. And for Charles Davis and our entire crew here at EA Sports, I'm Brandon Gaudin saying so long, everybody.